The struggles of the being accompany the limited vision of its understanding. What it rarely perceives is that this understanding is unique, that is, only it understands in that particular way. Although this seems obvious, it is difficult to accept that any other being will understand anything in a different way. There will never be an identical or uniform understanding, only apparent similarities. The paradox lies in the fact that, no matter how much effort the being makes to achieve a unique understanding, or to be completely understood, this is impossible in the manifested universe. Being perfectly understood differs from being completely understood, for each perception is individual and suited to the action that will follow. It seems to the manifested being that the idea drives it, but in reality, the idea corroborates, sustains, and comforts the result of the already determined action. The exposition and explanation of the idea that appears to motivate the action, or call forth other actions, seek to justify and ground the acts, preventing them from being condemned or judged as thoughtless. Behind the individual and unique understanding, there is an invisible control that sustains both creation and the being in manifestation. To comprehend differs from simply to understand, for it reveals to the being the formula that disciplines the character it represents. It will never be possible to prevent the real gaze of the being. This gaze allows it, upon comprehending, to see itself inserted in the tasks of a fabricated daily life. This real gaze also enables the being to comprehend the expressed understanding that sustains its actions. Fundamentally, this real gaze allows the being to recognize itself, discover itself, and master itself and the created universe. But this process requires courage, and courage is a deeply disguised concept. Let the being understand, therefore, that time is the only factor that distinguishes one being from another. Every being, at some moment, thinks, communicates, or acts with the same expressions that others have already manifested, or will manifest. What truly distinguishes them is time, which impresses a notion of intensity. The thought and the solar movement are equivalent to those of a rock, located anywhere in the perceived universe. Time distinguishes the way each one understands the other. Therefore, it is impossible for a being in manifestation to create anything that has not already been created, thought, or spoken. Time imposes limits on individual understanding, and no one will perceive movements in the same way.